Stop the music. I can't stand it. There it is. I need a volume slider. Whoa. Welcome to Saturday Night Live, boomers and distinguished guests yet to come. So tonight we're just going to have, I just want to jump on. We can have a little talk, see who shows up in the community, as well as the people that have never been here before. So if you've never been here before, drop a comment. Those of you who have been here before, your comments are banned. Maybe about where we're all from. D, thriving in retirement, made it. Probably less than 30 seconds you posted that. I've had a wild 20 minutes. I was getting in the shower. I had to. And my daughter called, and it was good talking to her. And that jazzy music started about the time I think you posted that. So tonight, I titled this, You're Not Retired, or you're, something like that, because, but that's not really where I want to go tonight. I want to talk about decluttering and where I'm at with it. Big decision made, moving full steam ahead with what I'm about to do. And I'm excited about it. And I think it will be good to share with you all, especially those of you who are struggling with decluttering in your retirement. Man, it's a huge thing for me. I'm where I'm living right now. Get into it a little bit here shortly, but this was where my parents lived for 25, 30 years. A mobile and a retirement community here in the Valley of the Sun. And I came back now, I don't even know how long, over 7 years ago. Oh yeah, 7. Because when this happened, the heart event, that was 7 years ago. I was here about 8 to 9 years ago. And I made a lot of progress with decluttering and clearing things out to sell. And then I hit really more of what I would call an emotional wall. Because man, I've got things. Matter of fact, this is something weird. I'm going to do a little show and tell right now. I think I can do it here. Isn't it right here? You're going to think this is a little bit crazy. Maybe you're not, because it's not here. See, I'm so cluttered I can't even find what I'm looking for here. But that's okay. I have a memento from my dad right here. And I don't know where it went. It's so cluttered, I can't find the clutter. So I hit a real emotional wall, but I'm going to talk about how I finally think I can get through it. And then open it up to whatever you all want to talk about, your questions. Somebody left a question. I should probably check to see if there are any others. In the post about going live tonight, it's a very good question. We'll address that. And comments are welcome on anything and everything. But I'll start tonight with this once again on the last video about retirement, the fact that I still work. And there is a whole group of people that say, if you're still working, then you're not retired, and in a way I get that. In a way I do feel that, because retirement traditionally has been this, there you go, D. I just noticed that. I think retirement is, well, let me read. I've been doing a lot of thinking on this, because when I decided to claim retirement, number one, I had, it was when I hit 65. That was always in my day and age when my parents, that's the retirement age. You get Social Security at 65. And, you know, in the old days, you would have probably worked for a company for at least 20 to 30 years, and you retired with the proverbial gold watch. And that was kind of a benchmark. You retired, and usually your pension was enough for you to live simply on. Okay. And so I remember thinking, I remember saying now most of my life, I'll never retire. Be careful what you wish for. It's one thing to choose, and that's really what it is. I mean, I could retire if I had to and live a really skeleton, simple life. Um, but I don't want to live that simple of a life. Okay. I still want to live some life. And that means simple things, though, because I'm definitely not into the pursuit of things at 67 years old. So when I decided I'm going to claim and realize that, hey, I'm retired, and that was when I realized I no longer was working my profession. I was choosing the job I had. And yes, I still, I decided I would, rather than really downsize to the point where I would live very basic, maybe have to go live with one of my kids, whatever. Um, never eat out, never take a vacation again, never buy a new car, which I don't think I'll ever do again anyway. But those kinds of things, I decided I want to continue to have, as I put in my last video, maintain, not have, but maintain independence my own way. And that meant I would continue to work. So I went to work part-time at Home Depot, which then became by choice full-time, not because I really had to, because I wanted to get the retirement, the health care that it offered. Because now, and that plays into a very determining factor as to when I leave my present employment one day, is I'm going to have to then budget in over $200 a month for the Medicare B, C, D, etc. FU plan. As was it Garden that got a kick out of that last week? Yeah, firstly. Hey Raymond, good to see you. Where where are you from? I don't know if that's your last name or if it's where you're at. So if anyone else is in the comments here, if you just want to drop a, I won't embarrass you. I'll drop. We'll just drop about where you're listening from or where you're checking in from. So it was at that point I said, you know what? I could go for Social Security now. And my plan was, as I was watching it, to do it when I did, which was my full retirement age from 1958 was 66 and 7 months, I think it was. Because they kind of grandfathered those who were on the borderline of when they changed the retirement age from full retirement age from 65 to 67, which is what most of you are qualifying at. So at 67, you can get full retirement age, meaning you can apply for Social Security and continue to work with no penalty, at least as the laws are written right now. 70, of course, is full maximum benefits. And the big debate and argument out there on that is a good percentage of you, based on government actuary tables, they know you're not going to live much longer than that. If you take it at 62, you look at all the math geniuses out there and they run all the projections. You take it early like that, as early as 62, to have made a bad financial decision at that time, you would have to have lived to about 82, 83 years old. Then, you made a mistake, but you won't know that. And they know, and based upon anyone, you've got to make this decision for yourself. If you have a health history with any kind of comorbidity, like a heart disease or cancer or anything that would indicate, diabetes, any kind of health thing that would start notching you down to the reality of your longevity, you might be better off taking it before 70 for sure. That's just my opinion. And I think you do your own research on that, but do not buy into what they tell you to hang on till 70 so you get the maximum, because you're going to live. Because the fact of the matter is, for a lot of us, on the average, you might only have 3 to 6 years left. That's just the way it is, man. All right, real quick, we'll take a breather here. Hello, Suzanne from Illinois. Johnny, former home of the Bears. Hey, Johnny, I just saw today that they're moving to Indiana. I mean, Indiana has, they certainly were impressive in college football this past year. I did that. I just thought, I didn't know if it was final or not. That would be a huge thing, man. The city of Chicago, the Bears. When I think of the Bears, you think Chicago. When you think Chicago, you think of the Bears. Come on, right? There's Corey. Hey, real retiree. See, I can't be a part of this. Real Retirees Uncut, even though I've got an invitation, because I'm not really retired according to many people out there. But I did get a pretty strong comment from a guy, and basically he used the word liar. Come on, man. I'm not lying. It's just my opinion. You could certainly disagree with it. And I actually respect where this guy was coming from. I assume it's a guy. Where I almost deleted his comment was when he says, you know, you're lying, as if I'm lying to you all and lying to myself. And he took offense at that. So I consider myself retired. Now, let me read this, and then we'll get this. We will get this. We can discuss anything. The only other thing I want to mention tonight is about my decluttering decision. I'm excited about it. I think you all are going to actually, this not only may be an option for you, or, you know, when you're looking, if you're looking for something to supplement your retirement, pick up an extra, say, $100, $200, $500, $1,000 a month, I've got something I'm very excited about, and I want to, I encourage you to check this out on your own, as well as, I'm not plugging this as a commercial, but to come over to the school group. I'll put a link in someplace. 40 some people have joined over there, but most of them have dropped out because of time. And here's what I think the problem is. Some people see it as, oh, it's just another platform to go to. No, it's someplace to check in on and have conversations beyond what we can have with the YouTube video and beyond what we can have in the comment section of a YouTube video. And I'll be sharing a lot more intimate details as well as details over there in the school group. We invite you to come over, man. The best thing though is you got to download the app for, I think, it to work the best. You can do it on your computer, but SKOOL, man, check it out. What's Up Boomer over there, and some of the people that are here. And it's just a place, it's not a thing where you have to check in regularly. Just drop in if you've got, and you know, I think there's going to be information there that can be interesting and helpful. All right. Hey, Rhonda, have caught a couple of your lives, part of them. Yeah, you're doing, I can see you're enjoying that, which is really cool. Yes, Texas it is. Nomadic, Brian, Colts fan here, find it interesting. I don't live in Indiana though. Yeah, it's that move. Whatever. It's hard to believe. It's almost like, you know, the Arizona Cardinals. Back when I was a kid, it was the St. Louis Cardinals, right? St. Louis. Wait, the baseball team is the Cardinals. Our football team here was moved from St. Louis. You know. And you can fact check me on that, please. They were losers there, and they've been losers here. Actually, I like the vibe of the Cardinals have since I moved down here. Let me read you something here give you some food for thought. And I asked a GPT for an analysis of the retirement life in years. And I said that, can it be argued that it is very different today than a generation ago? And certainly when it was originally started. And the GPT said this: the short answer is yes, absolutely. The argument that retirement has fundamentally transformed is not just an opinion. It is backed up by historical data, shifting economics, and sociology. The hardcore purists, those people that call me a liar, criticize me for pretending or conveying myself as retired when I'm still working. These purists who argue that any work disqualifies you from being retired are clinging to an outdated mid-20th century model that was actually a brief historical anomaly. Today, retirement is no longer a cliff you fall off. It's a transition you navigate. And that's the AI nice way to put it. All right, so it goes into a bit about the origin of the retirement, etc. A generation ago, the golden age of the gold watch. This would have been the 70s and 80s. Retirement looked like a clean break. You worked for a company for 30 years, received a framed certificate or gold watch, stepped off the clock, and lived on a predictable corporate pension supplemented by Social Security. This model worked because of a structural pillar that has since vanished, the defined benefit pension. Then, of course, when we went into the 80s and into the 90s, it went to more of the 401ks and stuff. And that's where that video I played a week ago or so, those 401ks suffered. It's been an economic boom and bust. And that's why so many boomers were busted. They were doing the right things. They were trying to do it right. And then in those bust times, a lot of times, what would happen is you had to dip in. If your 401k survived, you had to dip into it to help survive life events. Back to when I made it, in my mind, clicked, I'm retired, was about 65. I decided, you know what, I'm maybe 60. I decided when I was taking Social Security, I was under the old ways of, when you took Social Security, you're retired. And so I just said, you know what? Yeah, my careers are over. Pretty much in education was where I spent my career, advising and teaching 8th grade, advising adults as well later, advising 14-year-olds as well. But I then started thinking about, well, what is retirement going to look like for me and about 50 to 80% of the rest of us? Because I realized I'm not alone. I'm the majority, man. I mean, the majority of us don't have, not only some people, they don't have anything, zero. It's a precarious place to be. And then another part of people have to work part-time. And then I think as high as 20% almost have to work full-time just to survive. And they're hanging on. That's the reality. And then, the last 15, 20%, they have enough to not have to work, but they have to watch every penny and dollar. And they're one catastrophe away from financial ruin, whether it be health or a new roof or, taxes on their home going through the roof, et cetera, all these things. That's the reality of where we are. Now, one more thing to read you on this that I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, listen to this. Retirement life is the chapter of life where mandatory employment ends and work becomes optional. And in the true sense of the word, work is optional for me, but I'd have to really change my life to make it. I'd have to really downsize the way I live, my standard of living. And for those of you who are retired with good incomes, you're up here. The minimalists are here. I'm below that because I got to work really, or at least to maintain the living I have, be able to travel periodically, debt-free. In other words, to do the things I'd love to do, go out and eat now and then, go see my grandkids maybe once a year, travel a little, maybe take one trip a year and a half. To do that, I've got to maintain my work schedule and make sure I have medical benefits. So I'm in kind of an optional area. It is an era of ultimate autonomy where your time no longer is dictated by the 9 to 5. Well, mine kind of is. And that's the biggest problem I have with working full time for a company. My days, some of you know, I've spent the last 2.5 weeks working a killer schedule now at 67 years old. And hopefully I'll remember to cover that in my next video, which I was posting last Tuesday and didn't get there. And then I was going to post today, didn't get there. So it'll be hopefully the video I lead this coming week on, which is on the topic of, working at 60 plus, the kind of the unexpected things I've found when you're working at 65 years of age and older. So my schedule still has a dictative quality of working for someone else, the 9 to 5. So where if you can get away from that, retirement is allowing you to focus purely on personal passions, well-being, travel, and purposeful engagement. And there was a question in the deal that in the YouTube channel posted by, and you can see it there in the community notes. It said, do you feel that if you weren't working, you would be lonely? And the answer to that is yes. As a matter of fact, I wasn't working. I was kind of looking at options back 5 years ago to supplement my standard of living. And that's when an opportunity to work part-time there, came up, and I took it. And it was one of the best thing wasn't really the paycheck. It was the second best thing. The best thing was not only seeing people every, or 3-4 days a week for 4 to 8 hours a shift. It was, interactions with real people. And even better is when you get to be in your 60s and you're working out there, you're working with almost everybody's younger than you. And I find that to be really great. I think that's a real advantage, is to stay in contact, stay connected to those that are younger than us. They're helpful in so many ways. They're also, I think you all agree, we look at some of these young people and go, oh my gosh, they've got another thing coming. Actually, we can't say that anymore because we have no idea what's coming. That's the scary part with the world, the way it's going. So the meaning of retirement has shifted dramatically, moving far beyond the traditional concept of just stopping work and sit back and relax. Today, it is deeply personal and multifaceted, characterized by several key aspects. Number one, time freedom and flexibility. Yep. Purpose and reinvention. That's the exciting part, really, we have control over, and it ties into what I'm about to share with you about decluttering and maybe supplementing income in the way I'm going to do and document for my channel. And then lastly, the 5 stages. Retirement life isn't static. It evolves through stages. And I'm in a stage where I'm choosing to work still to maintain a standard of living I want. So it often begins with the honeymoon phase of relaxation, transitioning through a period of reevaluating identity. Kind of goes back to what one of the YouTube, I think she is a subscriber, thinking about, are you lonely if you didn't have the job? Yes, but what I would do is I have these other things I'd be doing for social interaction that would be healthy and rewarding. This, I wasn't necessarily planning. Well, okay, I'll get to that in a second. This is Saturday Night Live. My preference is going to be Sunday, but this is a great social thing. It's fun to have you. I know that a lot of you show up and know each other and talk amongst yourselves there. I just think that's as important as talking to me. Although it's good for me too, people. So say hello. Tell me where you're from. I know I'm kind of sad, ain't I? So it begins the honeymoon phase, eventually settles after reevaluation of identity into a routine of stability. And that's really what, that is what I consider the independent stage, where we can be comfortable with our own independence. So that's where I'm at with that. Those of you who can call me a liar because I'm saying I'm presenting myself as retired, not about lying. I'm just in a different place than you are. And, God bless that you are able to not work. Had I made better decisions, had things turned out different, because I made some good decisions, they just didn't turn out. I could be maybe more like you. All right. Before I get to, let me say this, and I'm going to get some comments here that have come in there. Appreciate them from D and Brian and Garden. There's Garden. I mentioned that Medicare plan again, the FU plan. I'm glad you got you're one of the only ones, I think, or at least you mentioned it. You caught me on that last week. P for Phil. So I decided, they talk about being consistent. And what I'd love to do is, I think I just choose to do lives on Sunday night. Why? Question for the audience. What was significant back when we were kids, and I'm talking young kids, I'd say before, in our 3 to 8 year old range, so let's just say early 60s. Why is Sunday night live? What is significant about that? Can someone, Brian, wait, I got to get back from Colorado Springs. Brian, that's where I lived for 40 years. We'll get back to your comment shortly. Can anyone that's in the room tell me why Sunday night I would have an affinity, a good feel about doing my live and feeling successful about it, because history says this is a great night to be live. Can someone tell me why I feel that way? Disney. Oh, yes, Disney was on Sunday nights. Not the one I'm thinking, though. The Wonderful World of Color. That would be number 2. Thank you, D. Oh, let me just put that up there. But no, that's not what I'm thinking. I'm going to show you what I'm thinking here in just a second, because this is good information. Good. Anybody else? Oh, man. Was that on Sundays, Johnny? Mutual of Omaha's Wild Cat. Watched it all the time. Was that just wholesome fun? And what was that on TV about 50 years? And those lions, tigers, and bears, snakes, whatever, never, those guys survived it. Marlin Perkins. I always wondered about, man, a bluebird could take that guy out. But he had Jim. Was his name Jim? He was a strong dude, man. He was, for that day, he would kind of be like, he'd be like a military, like a guys today, everyone's all buff and beaten and taking the juice. And that guy he was the one that they couldn't hurt, for sure. I do see Elgin's in here as well. Elgin, I don't know if you're still here. Thank you for coming by. Hold on. All right, hold on. Oh, hold on. Who said this? Okay, so I love it. Jen Jones, those transition years. I'm putting your answer up in, well, y'all see it, I guess. There it is. Ed Sullivan, it is. Let me show you. Let me share something about the Ed Sullivan show. If I could. Look at this, guys. So the Ed Sullivan show aired. Let me make sure. Yep, it's up there. On CBS every Sunday night at 8 p.m. So I think Disney was like at 6 or 7, The Wonderful World of Disney. For its entire 23-year run on television, from 48 to 71, the iconic variety show maintained this exact same weekly time slot, making it one of the longest running shows to stay in the same position on the same network. And so I bring this up too because at work this week, I made a comment to somebody about something being, I said, that's a really big show. And they kind of looked at me and I said, there again, they have no cultural reference to what I'm doing. And I asked them, and every person I ask over the couple-day period, hey, what's your first thought when I say it's a really big show? We've got a really big show. It's a big show. Not one person could tell me, hang on, Sage. We'll have to pick something that you Gen Xers will relate to. Is it Gen X? Yeah. None of them could relate that phrase to the Ed Sullivan Show. And the reason why I remember it is because every comedian in the 60s and 70s not mocked, but mimicked Ed Sullivan. They'd say, we've got a really big show for you tonight. And of course, what was the biggest thing ever, I think, not only almost to this day, one of the biggest things ever. And by the way, it was live, if I remember right. What was the biggest part? What was the biggest part of that big show? Come on. For some people that are in here, you got to know. You got to help us. You know what it was. I know you do. So thank you, Jen Jones. All right. What's this one say? The musical Bye Bye Birdie had a song in it. Ed Sullivan is, we're going to be on Ed Sullivan. Yeah, oh man, Ed Sullivan, huge, 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 man. But I'm talking about the Beatles made their American debut in 62, maybe, on the Ed Sullivan Show. Yeah. All right, now let's get to some comments before we talk about, just briefly talk about my really big plans. And by the way, so because of my work schedule, though, they typically schedule me on Sunday nights for close because we do the audit. It's a big kind of deal. It's a big deal. I get it done fast. I'm dependable. I was trained well by Deanna. She doesn't watch this. She's a 20-year-old. I went to her and said, Deanna, how do you do this? She taught me, boom. What used to take an hour takes 25 minutes now. So they typically have me handling the audit of the money for the week on Sunday nights. All right, we'll go back real quick and we'll do a quick run here. Rhonda's here. Yes, yes. Nomadic Brian from Chicago. I agree with ChatGPT on the definition of retirement. Now, by the way, D, I didn't say this. It was actually Gemini, the Gemini AI, which, yeah, Gemini, I'm kind of liking that one too. I like them all, but you kind of can get different perspectives. And, but I'm liking Gemini. Not retired in the traditional. Oh, well, Brian, neither am I. The traditional. No, a lot of people aren't. We're choosing. Sometimes we have to choose a little different route, but sometimes it's great because today we have options they didn't have back then. So, and here's my question to those people that are hardcore. So if you retired and you have to go back to work, as many YouTubers are talking about right now, almost all of the YouTubers that are almost all of them, especially the ones that are even pretty solid in their retirement plans, when they see their retirement savings kind of doing this and that and stuff, or they get hit with a big expense on their house or the taxes, and they start seriously thinking, should I go get a part-time job? So my question is, do you lose your retirement status if you go back to work? My answer is, of course not. So I consider myself an unemployed senior app developer contract worker. Okay. Between age, AI, yep, anti-remote worker, hard to get supplemental plan going. Yeah. Yeah. That's the world, isn't it? I don't think we'll see the traditional retirement stopped according to whatever it considered in the 80s and 90s when pension plans went out and 401k plans came in and IRAs. Here we go. Our resident optimist here, Rhonda says it like it is. There's Elgin from the Philippines. How about that? Our international member of our community. Thank you, Elgin. I hope you're still here because now, see, in the Philippines, it's 5 o'clock here, 5:30 in Arizona, 8:30 on the East Coast. They're into tomorrow. It would be morning where she's at. It's always 3. It's like 8:30 in the morning. Yes, 12 hours from the East Coast, which is weird. It's a time warp. If you think about, if you go back toward the East Coast, it's just opposite. You're getting closer to the real time over there. If you go this way, west from here, you go 15 hours into the future. If you go back, you're only 12 hours into the future. Oh my gosh. I need Einstein here for us to get a review on time and relativity. So yeah, it's 8:30 in the tomorrow morning for the Philippines. Ryan says agree. There's Garden. Hello, Garden. When I did some work for Clark County in Nevada, I chatted with a retired military guy who worked part-time there. He was in his 80s, worked out a deal with the assessor's office. And my guess, even if he was a non-commissioned officer retiree, I mean, my guess is, I bet he enjoyed working, being useful, using his mind. Yeah, I'll bet he liked that. So D says to Brian, it used to be that there were so many post-retirement options for retired Fed employees. Oh, okay. So yeah, I know, like post office workers. Well, that always seemed like a great gig. You know, people that work for the post office, which was very difficult to get back in the day. It's mostly military personnel. ex-military or retired military. Yeah, they had some benefits that came with that. Leah from Ohio. You know, Leah, I'm from Ohio originally, allegedly. Now, Brian, Colorado Springs. Do I know you? Maybe I lived there from 1969 for about 37 to 38 years into 2007 or something like that. 2008. Went to Franklin Elementary, which was right off of Circle Drive, which is now a utilities center. They closed that years ago. Took my first bowling league at Brunswick Lanes. I think it's still there at Circle and Uinta. Uinta? I think it's Uinta. Went to Emerson Junior High, which was now a John Irwin Space Academy. I actually visited there years later. I actually taught there years later. And then I graduated from Mitchell High School back in 1976. State football champions. I was the starting quarterback in my dreams. Actually, Tom Hinkle was, and rest his soul, he has passed. Was not on the football team, but they had a kick-ass football team. Those guys were good. They were small too. Disney, no, we've determined it was Mutual. All those are classic, great shows, right? I agree. Yep. Johnny says, yep. 1970 Sunday Night Disney when Mutual Omaha's Wild Kingdom from Gen Xer. Okay, very good. Yeah, you know, I think that's when I was watching the Mutual Omaha show. Such good stuff, man. You know, how many of you find yourself getting on YouTube now? Those shows are probably on YouTube somewhere. Gilligan's Island, Johnny Quest, The Rifleman, Gunsmoke, Big Valley. Oh my gosh, love great memories of that television. Football as an adult, yes. Sunday night as a kid, it was Disney. Yeah, football too. Yeah. What was very weird is when I moved to Arizona, Monday night football coverage started at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I was coming home from my job up to 51, and Sunday night football. Monday night football was you pick up the feed from the East Coast, and it just seemed weird, man. It's be full sun here, and football was starting on TV. Then in Hawaii, Sunday morning game coverage started at 7 a.m. It was pretty cool. You could watch the whole series of games pretty much at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 4, you could go to the ocean, go down to the beach, go watch the sunset. The NFL was over. Gen X is getting an old age. I'd like to say, hey, you Gen Xers are getting old. That's what Sage is trying to say. How late was Ed Sullivan? Too late for late as in when it was on TV? It was early, I think. Well, hold on. It said here it was in the time slot, 8 p.m. Eastern. So I guess that would be a little bit late. 8 p.m. Eastern. It was before my time. Oh, you guys that want to pretend like you're so much younger than all of us. I tell you. There we go. I recall him saying, really big shoe. Yes, that's right. And I've seen the clips, but what I remember most is all of the comedians did Ed Sullivan. Kind of like they did Johnny Carson, you know, kind of like they do Trump, Biden, Obama. You know, they do the iconic people of our culture. And Ed Sullivan was definitely that big and that guy. Topo Gigio was in it, I think. Oh, yeah. Well, I think anybody that was anybody in Hollywood, in music, did the Ed Sullivan show. Yes. You know, I don't remember if I actually saw it live. I can't remember, but I remember my mom talking about it, whatever. I mean, it was a societal shift when the Beatles hit the Ed Sullivan show in America. Topo Gigio and the Beatles. There you go. Beatles. There you go. Yes. Nick. Hey, Nick. Good to see you, man. To be fair, a lot depends on how you phrase the question for AI. You started with, could it be argued? And of course, anything could be argued. That's right. Got it. I think I have some ex-relationships that were would agree with you on that. 2 cents on AI chats. Okay. 2 cents, Brian. Let's hear it. LLM text models been coding in the last 2 months from Form Book. 2 months from Book. Got the basics. They require a lot of help, guardrails and such. Yeah. Yes. This idea, they're calling it hallucination, heavy semantics, trust not. Well, so just to give you, to feed into what you said and confirm it, I used a Gemini and I used ChatGPT, maybe Claude, and I asked it for the history of retirement. One only went back to the early 1900s, like 1900s, saying that's when it kind of started. But another one went all the way back to the Roman Empire, where the soldiers were given by Caesar a stipend for their service in their later years. So, but I'm going to tell you, Brian, let's just put this. Maybe I'm easily led. I'm gullible, because it's pretty convincing, the stuff that I have been able to verify, how right on it has been. Want to do a shout out. I think she's watching. Her name is Davina. Hello, Davina. First timer, just found you. Retired on Tuesday. Jeff, are you working? Because if you're working, Jeff, you've got to retract this statement. If you have a part-time job, retract your statement. I demand it. Jeff, I'm throwing a little history at you here. Welcome, first timers. So cool that you're here. Awesome. Look forward to what you bring, your experiences, your memories, etc. Woody, I remember watching the Beatles that night, but I had an older brother and sister to clue me in. Really? Okay. What is the one thing, if you were either you watched it or you heard about it, what is always reported or would stand out to you if you saw the clip? Matter of fact, hold on, people. I got to do this. I'm going to see if I can pull up the that night on the Ed Sullivan Show. But before I do that, you guys have to tell me again. What's your memory of? Come on. Switch account. I got 2 accounts. The account I'm trying to get to is the one that I don't have to watch commercials on. And it's not. Oh, there it is. Okay. Beatles. Ed Sullivan. Okay, I'm going to bring it up, guys. For you that have never seen this, comes right up. Ed Sullivan Show, Beatles. Here we go. Now, before I play and share this with you, what would be, if you had to describe it, one thing that happened during this societal shift that night? What do you recall about that live performance? One thing. I'm going to see if anyone can do it. This is just like 8th grade class. You ask a question. You ask them to go do a worksheet, and I go back to my desk and sit and writing notes to each other. Ask a question in class. Okay, hold on. Let's see what we're saying here. Rhonda, everyone was so shocked Beatles' long hair. Yes. Now, that was definitely talked about. The hair was huge. But in terms or specific to that performance on the Ed Sullivan Show, one thing, what would you say that people would mention? Long hair would be up there. But no, I don't think so. I have a really cool set of Beatles figures of the Beatles in their gray suits and mop top haircuts. Yeah, they had gray suits. Come on. Oh, Debbie. Oh, poor Kentucky Life with Debbie. Debbie, good to see you. We didn't have a TV. You know what? I'll tell you what. And the majority of us who did have TVs, they were black and white. Guarantee you that, especially in the early 60s. Yeah, I remember us getting our first one in the mid 60s. It was a rental place. We had it a month, and they came and got it. And I remember going, "What happened to the color TV?" My parents said, Oh, we just we gave it back. They couldn't afford the payments, is what happened. All right, I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody guessing this. So let me go to that performance back in 1964, February 16th. I guess 1964. And we'll see what you got stands out to you guys. And for you youngsters out there, you young Gen Xers and the rest of you, we'll see what you think. Here it is.
The Ed Sullivan Show. And now from the stage of the Deauville Hotel, here he is, Ed Sullivan.
By the way, this studio is where David Letterman had his show all those years, and I can't remember who was there now, who just ended. But yeah, this is where David Letterman had his show. All right, let's see if he says we got a really big show. All right, I'll shut up. I just listened to that a long time. Is that cool or what? Yes, what that's a good memory, though. That music and the Beatles themselves. Of the Beatles, as you may know, some of you, I mean, you probably know, obviously the only people alive would be Ringo, the drummer, and Paul. John has passed, and then of course, oh my gosh, one of the biggest, the John Lennon. He was shot by. It doesn't matter who, but he was killed in New York City, attacked, which was, that was a huge thing as well. All right. Okay, let me catch up here. But it was the screaming. Maybe this was a different one, but maybe that was not the first night of the, because the screaming was out of this world. Oh, no, wait, guys. I think, hold on. So I think that was Ed Sullivan mentioned how they were. I think this is the first one. They brought him back when he was in Miami, is what I'm thinking is the deal. Let's just check that out real quick. Oops. Because it was the screaming that it was just out of control. You could barely hear. From the reports that I hear about that night, people talking about it, they couldn't even hear themselves. The screaming was so crazy. Let's do it. Just for a minute here. Let's check it out. Come on. Is that not good stuff? Man. Unbelievable. I'll bet, Rhonda, I'll bet you're just dancing in the streets over there. All right, let me catch up here a little bit. Okay, yeah, Jeff, great that you're here. What Beatles that night? I had an old, yeah, to clue you in, yeah. Like what's going on here? I remember wondering what's everybody screaming about. It was a little, I would have been, what was 64 for about 5-6 years old. Yes, hey Susie, Disney, yes, for that night. Here we go. Now I know why my folks were rushing us off to bed. Okay, what y'all don't know, possibly what Sage is talking about here, is they were like socially unacceptable. They didn't want their young girls they thought this was like of the devil. Yeah, it was school next year, but it was really Ed Sullivan and his really big show. Yeah, they were afraid of the Beatles and what was happening. Jen Jones, I'll be semi-retired in July. Very good. Okay, here you go, Rhonda. Everyone was so shocked at the Beatles' long hair. That's very humorous now. Yeah, if I would have thought ahead, I would have bought one of those Beatle mop things, put it on my head tonight. Oh, I watched the other show with my grandparents. Loved it. Yeah, doesn't this just kind of invoke good feelings, even though the 60s were a decade of social turbulence, to say the least, especially with racial. I mean, depending on where you were and what It was not a real safe time, not a real good time for all people. That is for sure. I have a really cool set of Beatles figure. Yeah, there you go. The gray suits. Yep. Rings was on a riser. Oh yeah, Ringo. And you know, Ringo is 80 some years old and still plays tours today with the All-Star Band. In another life, I live next to a guy that has toured with him named Todd Rundgren. I was in a nice little place on 10 acres, and his house was right there. I met the guy that was one of his best friends and partied at his house for my friend's birthday. Todd would return on tour and cooked beef Wellington that night at his house. Pretty cool. I've learned more about it, so I never watched it. Yeah. You know, that's another thing. You could go back and watch Ed Sullivan's show replays, I'm sure, on YouTube. We didn't have a T. Okay, here we go. 6, yeah. So my guess, yeah. Okay, was on a riser. Yeah, we got it. I got you, Jen Jones. I recall that I wasn't born. My dad didn't care for those long-haired hippies called them. Hey, look, they were not well received by the establishment. They were hated, I would almost go as far to say, by the establishment. Before my time, you know what? I might just have to ban you youngsters from this mature audience. Painting and smoking. Yeah. Quite an excitable introduction there by Ed. Yeah, man. It's still quoted, I'm sure, among some of the biggest cultural events of our last 100 years. I'll bet it would be considered up there. Yeah, I mean, Sage, you know what's cool? I hear those songs tonight, and I think, God, they're good to listen to today. The reaction of the adult women were completely confused me as a child. Now, I will have to tell you, when you say adult women, those were teenagers mostly. That is Sir Paul to you. You know what? I stand corrected. But you know what? Just what you know of Paul McCartney, if you see how he has lived his life and just how he reacts to the public, probably one of the nicest human beings in the world. And I think would never, you know how, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it was a great honor for him, but he's unpretentious, right? Oh yeah, yeah. Paul McCartney threw Wings later, yeah. And you know, he had an amazing relationship with Linda, who passed from cancer, and they were together. The story goes, in the 20, 30 plus whatever years they were together, they never spent a night apart, or maybe just one or two. Pretty crazy. That's a great relationship story of those two. John and Georgia passed. Yes. Yeah. Yep. What? Well, those weren't the best. I don't know. They were screaming, but I think okay, now I hear the screaming. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I want to hold your hand. Who doesn't know the lyrics of that? And you know what's weird is when we recall past, I can't, like when I mentioned about the third grade event in my last video, someone had mentioned how they couldn't remember anything about third grade. And I told them in the comments, the only thing I remember about third grade is that emotional event of being humiliated in class by copying Becky's bear, who was sitting next to me. Remember it to this day. Oh, it's kind of fresh still. I just remember not, yeah. So, but here we can remember lyrics like that all the way back. Hey, Hope, so funny. Don't get it, Gen X. Well, Gen X or Hope, it was huge. The Beatles were huge. And people were different back then. You know what we don't get? I don't know what you're Gen X. I don't know. What was the generation that did mosh pits? There. I don't get mosh pit. I didn't get it then. I thought it was stupid. They should be disciplined. I don't get it today. Johnny, there's proof of just how, I'll bet she is too. Johnny's not joking here, guys. Oh man, I've lived through the 60s twice. Is that just maybe a hallucination that you're having there, Rhonda? Oh wait, oh my gosh, that is a great line. I get it. I get it. Wow. I'm not gonna, that's a cool comment. Does anyone else get what Rhonda means by that? Because I'll just say I'm 2.5 years away. I'm gonna steal that, Rhonda. Oh my gosh. If I'm still YouTubing it in a few years, I'm gonna say I'm one of the only people, which I will be, that you all know that have lived through the 60s twice. I love it. Rhonda, that's a great observation. In 8th grade, one day at school, we heard that Ringo got married, and one of my best friends started crying hysterically, had to go home. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. She was, yeah, that's an obsession for sure. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was born in 69, hence the name Hope. Ah, that's cool. So in 69, I think that was the year we left Ohio to go to Colorado. Colorado Springs, Johnny. Not screaming here, just boy, Johnny, with a comment like that, I'd like to talk to, it would be great to have your wife on here. We don't want to talk to you. We want to talk to her because I think you're exaggerating. I was 4 when that show aired. Yeah. So I would have been about, we're close. So yeah, see, you're within a couple years. I was a borderline. I was still boomer, but Gen X or Gen Jones was just starting there. Yep. Jude's, that's right. Jude's, you're jumping in here. Let us know where you're from again. No mosh pits for me. I see these guys out there slapping their fists and this and that. And it's like, man, if I had big enough, I would have taken that guy out and said, oops, I'm moshing, man. I got some mosh for you. Pow! Oh, D, you got what Rhonda said? Absolutely. Oh, that's cool. Hold on. I did go to New Wave Night. Oh my God. In the 80s. 25-cent beer night on Tuesday. $3 got you all the beer you wanted. Oh yeah. Can you imagine? Those are crazy. That's crazy. I actually did a video titled that. Oh, Rhonda, I'm going to go back and check that out on your channel. Yeah. Oh, I'm interested. Matter of fact, I will report back to the boomer community on this person claiming to have lived through the 60s twice. This is news. Okay, now let me say this. How are we doing on time here? Okay, good deal. Guys, let me tell you about my plan to declutter. So a number of videos ago, probably about a year ago, I did a video. How can I do this? I'm looking here. Here we go. Switch account again. Go back to my Boomer channel because I have 2 YouTube accounts. Both of them. One is What's Up Boomer 1958, and the other one is What's Up Boomer. So I went to get it for my What's Up Boomer YouTube channel, and I couldn't get What's Up Boomer. I threw a fit, man. What the hey? Who took what? I'm ticked off. I want What's Up Boomer to match my handle, the title. And then I realized, oh, it was me. My first YouTube account before I started a channel, I took the What's Up Boomer handle. So my second one, the one you all know me from pretty much, is the What's Up Boomer 1958. It's as creative as I could get. The 1958 represents the year I was born. Yes. And there's a few, yeah. Yeah, we have a number of people, I'm sure, in the community like that. So, guys, I did this video. I was going to actually show you if I could, real quick. Let's just go to see the title of it. So, if you wanted to go back and check it out, it's kind of, I mean, don't do it if you just, I mean, it's not that important really. But back in, I remember my thumbnail. So, here, ooh, I just wanted to see how long ago it was because this kind of ties in. Here it is. Here it is. Let me share the screen. So this is, if you look right here, how letting go of stuff. Am I sharing it? Yeah, I am. Okay, so right here, I'm letting go. Right? I'm letting go. How letting go of stuff might save my retirement. Decluttering as a side gig. See all those back there? Let me see if I can do it from here. Yeah, see all those right there? They're right there in front of me. I have a studio. I have a, if I just turn everything around, I got the studio facing that way. What you would see. I still have all those mugs. And I thought, I had this idea. I would sell, I love coffee. Actually, I have an unhealthy affinity to coffee mugs, for coffee mugs. Just love them. And I just, yeah, I just do. I would collect them. Any place I'd go on vacation, any Goodwill I'd go into, any trip I literally, even as recently as last September, I took a little trip, which I did a video about and never posted. I went to a Goodwill. I was walking down to get some cough stuff because I had this cough, a little cold that came on, and I went to go get the Dayquil stuff. And right across the street was this Goodwill. I went over there to look at the mugs and wanted to buy a Las Vegas one, but they didn't have any. So I was saved. But so that, how long ago was this? 11 months ago, I did this video about decluttering as a side gig. I have found the answer, and I'm going to share it with you right now. So over the course of then, I did extensive research, plans to do eBay and start decluttering that way before I just either throw it out or donate it or whatever. And in doing all this, actually a few years of watching and how to and the changes, there was just all kinds of problems. Maybe some of you have done this. So I just saw people, it was a lot of work. And then I started getting real concerned with all the scammers that had moved into the eBay world, where they would say they never received it, or it would show up broken, or it wasn't as it was, they said, oh, you misrepresented this. And eBay would take the side more often than not than the buyer. And I just thought, okay, I'm not going to handle this very well. So, yeah, Brian, thrift shops. I'm going to get to your comment in a second here because that's exactly what happened. So I then thought, okay, wait, Etsy's better. And they could do, it used to be handmade stuff, but now you can do this, you can do, what in the world? You could do, what's the word I'm looking for? Vintage stuff. And then I got to say, it was a lot of work. You had to take multiple pictures. You had to list. You had to pay a listing fees. And so I held off. I set everything up. I've got the account set up. You could go and it's live, but no things posted that I remember. Got it approved, got the accounts approved, everything, but never went forward with the listing. Because then you have to be, okay, now if someone buys something, you got to get that thing shipped out. So I invested in the scale and some of the packaging materials. And I said, I'm gonna need boxes. I'm gonna do it. It's a lot of research and work. I mean, they make it look so easy, but if you're gonna do it right, you got to make sure these mugs don't break, etc. Then I had things here that my parents have had for decades, and I thought, there is a market of people out there that, one man's junk is another man's treasure. Well, Okay, Jen Jones, hang out. I love that comment. You're going to like what I have to say. Oh, we're losing my focus here. There we go. I've just seen that trick on other thing. When things get out of focus here, it's focusing wherever. So you put something right here and it refocuses on your face. Maybe it was better the other way. So here I am for the last 11 months after setting everything up a year ago and not doing a darn thing moving forward with this until yesterday or the day before. A platform I had ruled out more than twice in the last 11 months is what I'm now committing to 100%. And that is the platform that is considered the best opportunity for people right now. And I'm gonna encourage people that are retired to think about doing this. It's fun, it's profitable, it's easy compared to the other ways. And it combines the thrift community like eBay with QVC. Now, what does that mean? It's where you literally run an auction, and they're like 15-second auctions. Now, you don't usually sell things for as much as you could on eBay, but guess what? You sell things within 30 seconds. And the company is super supportive of the sellers and the resellers, but you get paid instantly. This company has, and it's evolved. Right now, it may have hit its stride in the last 11 months, but certainly right now, that company is called, I always say the wrong word. Why? Oh, why not? Why not? Not we.
This dice table.
Here, I'm going to show you. Oh, come on. They don't even have the name. Why not? Why not? See, it's kind of weird. It's a weird name, right? I think it is. Oh, see? It's called WhatNot. WhatNot, all one word. Right now, there are live options. Okay, this is the one. Okay, this is the one I got into today. And I'm going to apologize right now because if you guys check this out, you might get hooked. But here's my plan. Let me get yeah. So D says she sees all of them. No, D, you do not. What you see in that picture that I shared is maybe a tenth of the mugs I have. It's crazy. Yeah, Jude's Tennessee. Awesome. What a great place, man. I love this. Thrift shops, the curse of adding clutter. I need these knickknacks. Yeah, I know. We're going to talk about that, though. I have a collection of coffee mugs. I buy one every time I travel to commemorate. Yes, but we didn't do a lot of traveling. Well, they're kind of a cool way to keep a memory of that event. Okay. Unfortunately, I have actually bought a number of Starbucks mugs. I felt bad. This young girl, 20 years old, she did this trip her senior year of college or something and bought a mug at every city they visited. She had like 12 of them, and she sold them to me for about a third of the price she paid for them. That's what happens. I still will buy them, Jen Jones. I ain't fooling with eBay. After checking the product, I'd rather give stuff away, and that's even hard for me. So, Debbie, I would like you, if you haven't already, come over, and anyone else, come over to the school group. I'm going to be sharing details of it with you all over there. You can ask questions, whatever. And I'm also then going to make some videos as I begin this process of what I'm going to do on WhatNot. And I'll share with you something that's going on with this right now. No, so it's not eBay. It's eBay is what I wasn't going to do. It's, as we know now, it's WhatNot. Live auctioning. I also collect coffee cups. Oh, I know. My daughter has forbidden me from buying more cups, 50 cups. One for every state was my limit. I need a bigger kitchen. If it breaks, it's not replaced, not 50 anymore. Oh, I know. I also did a video way back when on the perfect coffee mug, and I put one down that was $1 million. My $1 million coffee mug. It's the one I've had. It has the longest history with me. I can't believe it's never broken. See, Sage, there's two types of people in this world. There's people that don't get it, and people that do. And there is some people have a collectible problem. I have a problem with coffee mugs. I do. I feel a sense of, I don't know. Yeah, minimalist. So once I donate everything, I've never replaced. See, I'm a wannabe minimalist. D. I'm a wannabe. I feel much better, much lighter with life and everything. This is why I'm going to start this declutter project via WhatNot. Okay. And you guys will see. I want to get back to that. Okay, hang on. I'm going to show you an auction taking place right now. There's 278 people on it, and I'll show you just a little bit about it, and then we'll probably wrap it up. WhatNot? Yes, Jen Jones. Crazy. You got to get the app for it. That is crazy, Phil. Oh yeah, it's true. I couldn't get him to read the I couldn't get him to read the answer. Oh, WhatNot? I see you. Yeah. Good. Brian, I mostly do the loading and putting away dishes at my housemates. I have so many coffee cups. I barely squeeze them in the cabinets. If this was mobile right here, I would take you over. I have coffee mugs everywhere. There's a box down here with coffee mugs in it. That's the one I bought from the girl, because I brought it out, the young girl that collected. Let me just do this real quick. I'm just going to pull one live. We're going to pull one just anonymously. Let's see what it is. I'm just pulling one. Here it is. These are all Starbucks mugs in her collection. Here's the one I just reached in and pulled. It's Universal Studios. There it is. It's the You Are Here collection. This one is from 2016. They're just, and Starbucks did such a good job. Their quality. Here I am selling. We got an auction going. Who's gonna give me two? Do I hear two? 253. And that's not how the auctions run, by the way. Really. Okay. You collect coffee cups, no problem. Yes. Well, so I went through a stage before opening that thing that I just thought I'll get on as a retirement activity. They say do what you love. I love mugs. I can talk about, I have mugs from all over, most of the United States. Hawaii, I collect all the Hawaii ones. I just thought these would be good to sell to people for just a few dollars. I could make $50 extra a day. Just put them on eBay and just show, it'd be like a hobby with some income coming in. But then these platforms weren't real friendly to that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yes. Why do you collect for people's memories? Well, see, that's the selling feature, is people that would buy this mug would be people that went to Universal Studios but didn't get, maybe they couldn't afford or didn't, because I don't know what this would run in the play. Probably $50 now or more in Disneyland, or I mean Universal Studios. And on eBay those are selling, I don't know what it'd sell for, probably 20 some bucks if you can get a buyer, and it might take months. So here's what that's the issue, the emotional. It's huge, and I've got to break that. And the reality is, man, I just try, we can't take it with us. Yeah, I know. So I started this live with the reality of getting stuck here in emotional stuckness with the parents, the stuff in our family, which ain't much, but memories attached to it. What do? I can't throw it out. But anyway, I'm to the point now where it is time to declutter, and so I have freedom to move into and beyond, past this and into the future. So let me just show you guys how this is. So we're gonna this auction is going. It's part 2. These people are clearing out an estate. This person, the person running this, was approached by her friend to say, hey, can you help me go through my dad's? He passed. He was maybe still alive. He's late 80s, I think. They're going through boxes live, and they're picking stuff up, and they're saying, how much for this? And they started at $1 or $2. Today, I got locked in for like 45 minutes. So talk about a time waster. That's what I'm saying. Be careful here. But it's kind of entertaining. Is they got into a box with probably 30, 40 card decks they had bought over the years where they traveled, hotels back in the 60s, maybe the 50s. Places would have card decks made as promotional materials. I bid on 2 of them. One was Colorado, and the other one was North Carolina, where my daughter lives now, and it was the lighthouses of them. And I quit at about the $7 range. They sold for $9. The Carolina one went as high as, I don't know, 30 some dollars. So a couple others went as high as 50. Single deck of cards. Because why? People have an emotional attachment to these things. And in about a 20-minute period, they sold at least 15 to 20 decks, the lowest being $9, the most expensive being $50. And so they made a couple $100, roughly $150 maybe dollars, in 20 minutes. And they were still going. Now they're back, and they had gone a couple hours. So let's take a look at this auction real quick. You just tap in there.
Oh, this is precious. Oh my goodness, look at this.
Look at this, people.
Look at that. That, guys. Oh my goodness.
So the auction runs, I can bid on this by just swiping. The auction runs for basically 10 to 15 seconds, whatever they choose.
I love that.
Do you love it?
Prim and Vin, thank you so much. Number 30. Okay, let's see.
So they just bought that for $34, whatever that was. She's just picking stuff up now out of boxes. That's been a collection of this guy's life.
Oh my goodness, look at that pin cushion.
Just bear with me a couple minutes. This is a live auction right now.
All right, we're going to do what's left in here. Cigar box with all this fun stuff. It's going.
They're going to do a whole box.
Cigar box with all that stuff in there. All that beautiful stuff. How cute. 31. All right. Heirloom Stitchery with the first purchase. Thank you so much.
$20 for whatever that was. Now this is established. This creates a lot of interest going through an estate. Almost 300 people watching this right now.
Never looked at also.
So now they're moving.
All right, let's go right here.
This is just one level of their basement.
Look at this. Heavy, rusty, crusty, beautiful. It's not in good shape. We looked at that ukulele earlier.
The current bid is $4. It's now $7.
I don't think it would brave the shipping. I know. There might be more in here somewhere. It's just too fragile.
It's sold for 10.
All right, Prim and Ben, thank you, 32. All right. Oh, here we go. Turn off burner when not using.
This will be the last one.
Cheaper than gas. Yes. I
Junk.
love that. I love that. Yeah, this is cast iron piece. Beautiful.
I've got to have it. Should I bid? I should bid. I should do a video with me.
Iron.
I'm gonna do that. I should do a bidding live, maybe next week, guys.
All right, Allie B, thank you so much. All
$25.
Right,
all right, let's get out of here.
This one's a bit lighter.
So over 300 people watching that auction right now. They're in Pennsylvania, so it's like 9:30 there. All right, your comments, please. I can only imagine. I saw a couple of them already. Jen Jones, I know you are one of them. Yeah, so the issue is the emotional attachment. It is. Okay. Lately, sports mugs, I changed them out based on, yeah, have to support. There you go. You got to get one on the Indiana Bears. Phil, if you don't have Beanie Baby collection, you're okay. That was a crazy era. I can not only say I don't have a collection, but I don't even own one. And I don't even remember. I think I did buy, maybe I bought my kids or my grandkids some Beanie Babies in the past. Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't pay. I paid about, I think, $7 for this mug. I bought all of her mugs. I think she had 12 or something of them for $7 each. And I figured I could, this was easily a $20 to $30 or $40 mug, because it's they don't use these to drink coffee out of. They use it because of the emotional attachment. And I just love the design. Let's see, I mean, I've never been to Universal Studios, but there's, I guess, a tour bus. But they're historical, and for those who were there, they have emotional attachment is probably an understatement on these things. Okay, this is funny. Don't bid on more clutter, Phil. You're moving in. It's true. And here's the thing. And this, and those of us who are that. Do we want to leave our kids with the mess of all this? Now, here's the problem. My son would have this whole place cleared in a weekend. My daughter, like me, it might never get done. Because there are things in this place that even now I'm going to save those to the very end. Oof. Because it's like what you're doing to the thing, you're doing to your mom or your dad. I've got some heavy stuff. I would be ashamed to share with you. I'll just tell you. Just to give you an idea, I have a drawer in this bathroom over here. Has my mom, you're going to think y'all might call an ambulance for the psych ward, but there's some makeup that was hers in that drawer. It's still there. Well, it was here when I came out over 8 years ago. Don't tell on me. Nope. I think you guys are more healthy. It's called WhatNot, Hope. WhatNot. It's fun. It's it's crazy, but if you're looking for some old stuff or WhatNot, one word. I think this is now moving into the live intervention phase of the Saturday Night Live. I was thinking about a Hermie the Elf from Rudolph. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite to this day Christmas show. The plushie that sang. Then instead of DIY it. Do it yourself. Hooked up the song to a plushie. Done. Cool. One of the intent as an adult, I will say I've been brought to tears a little bit at the because as I grew up, I started to see, and I watch it still. I haven't watched it for a few years, but when they cut to the scene late in the show of the island of misfit toys. And because I think in some ways in my time of growing up, I was a misfit, or where you weren't wanted, where you were rejected. It's getting deep here now. And for those of you who are here, we have our biggest crowd, I think, of the night. I've been watching it real close. But hey, man, if you ever felt like a misfit, if you're watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that scene is going to choke you up a little bit, because Rudolph is coming to rescue them. And Santa is going to find a home for a misfit toy. And Hermie the Elf was, I think, well, he was part of it, helping them. And it's like, okay, in real life, isn't it? Doesn't everyone want to help a misfit? Yeah. Now back to the show. Back to the really big show. I just hired the Got Junk people to haul the clutter out of the storage room in my basement. No thanks, not for me. Careful, Jen. You say that now, Jen Jones, but you never know. Which, by the way, do you know that storage units in this country are epidemic? It's a multi-billion-dollar industry because people are saving and storing their junk. Make sure the minimum price covers the free shipping, tracking. Yeah, actually, they don't have free shipping per se. They don't recommend that. You pay for the shipping, so people they get good deals on this stuff which is going to be my decluttering, my collectibles that my parents had, etc. And then they pay for the shipping. And the company has negotiated probably the most amazing shipping rates. So it's a good thing where the people that buy it, like on eBay, I never liked this. You'll see Starbucks mugs, $4. Wow, $4. And this is a collectible mug in the circle. If you're into mugs, that. And then you go to see the shipping, $18, $24. And I always thought that was dishonest and borderline illegal, but that's what they do on those things to get you to click and go, oh yeah, I want this. And all of a sudden you're paying shipping is ridiculous. You'd be better off giving them an $18 for the mug, $22 fare, and $4 in shipping. On this company, no. Shipping is flat rate. You can actually combine things if you do multiple purchases. It's really set up if you're going to collect things, or if you want something that reminds you of something in childhood, because I do believe there's a lot of people like going through that right now. It triggers an emotion and they just have to have it. And you'll hear people say, hey, bid with responsibly, because people just, I gotta have that. I gotta have that. There's something, something to be said about our culture. Why are so many people in our world, especially in this country, like that? Yeah, never been there, Jen Jones. I thought I was going to get some things from my parents, but a tornado. Wow, see? And then, you know what I anticipate, like if a fire or a disaster like that happens, it's something you probably haven't seen in years and years and years. And there might be some things you had hoped to hold on as family treasures. But in the end, what's most important is you hold on to their memories, which goes into my importance of some legacy things I believe we all should be doing for our families. Preserving our voice, maybe even our video things. And yeah. Hope, okay. All right. I do. Yes, Rhonda. Hey, Rhonda, let's do a live or a video. So the video would be seen by more people. If you're up for it, let's do a video about this topic and I'll be your subject. It's a big one because I know I'm not alone out there, but man, there are things, like I said, that are embarrassing in a way. I mean, but I'm at a point now. I can honestly say I'm days away from buying the big truck and clearing all of this crap out. But Rhonda, we should talk about, when you say therapy, why are people like this? What are we holding on to? What is it that emotionally we are so, it's stunted. It stunts our living. Misfit Toys sounds like a 2000. Armored Ghost. Hey, Armored Ghost is back. I remember you. You haven't been around for a while. The live you came on months ago or whatever, right? I wanted to know who you were. This is one of the funniest guys, most creative, or women. I don't know who you are. You would not identify yourself. I hope you're still here. You were a kick, man. Phil, you've called clutter proof of life. Oh, Sage. Yeah, I remember that, man. Yeah. However, mom's makeup is a bio. Man, what a killjoy. I think I've never used that word before, but that is a killjoy. A weight is lifted when it goes into trash. I'm decluttering too, not easy. Yeah, Sage. It's going soon. Matter of fact, you know what? I should document that because these are topics I do want to talk about on the channel. I think we all can relate. And Rhonda, back to you. We need to do this, Ron. We need to talk about this. And I know you're a licensed therapist, or this would be a great topic. Actually, we should do a live and we do a video, maybe like a 15-minute video, and we can plan it out. You can help me with these emotional attachment. But yes, I did call it a proof of life, and it wasn't my original idea. I either saw a video or I read a quote. It was a quote. I'll look it back up. Sage, thank you for recalling this. That we hang on to these things because it's proof of life. Oh man, that was a big thought. I remember that. Sure, Phil. I was sending you an email. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Good. Right, guys, if you don't know Rhonda, Entreaty by Rhonda Hensley, a person that has, that's how you're going to get, a person that has lived the decade of the 60s twice. Yeah, it'd be very interesting, Rhonda, to get your perspectives on this. Have you known any hoarders? What do you think motivates them to hoard? Okay, I love this question. Armored Ghost, you wouldn't share anything about you in the last one, but I'm so glad to see you here tonight. I'll just leave it at that. Yes, I think I have. As a matter of fact, a good friend of mine who came to visit saw that I just had a room full of boxes. I said, "Oh my God, my buddy's a hoarder." I went, "What? I'm not a hoarder. You've seen that television show? Shit, I'm not a hoarder." I think I do have some hoarding tendency. Careful how you say that. Hoarding tendencies. Yes. Why? There's an emotional attachment. I've thought about this. People that will keep newspapers, and just stuff. And I also think, because I can relate to this, when say things are really disorganized, dishes pile up, there's usually emotional pain, in my opinion, attached to those seasons. And so whatever that person is going through, it's beyond just a proof of life at that point. It's something emotionally painful that they have not been able to deal with, and they hold on. Ugh, I don't know why. That's what I relate to. And it's not a motivation. I think that would not be the correct word. It's something that results. It's an action or an inaction to. It's an inaction to deal with it. You get paralyzed. So it's definitely demotivating, and that compounds. Kind of, I should, Rhonda, you can bestow a PhD on me, because I think this is deep stuff. But I take that from personal experience. Because if I was motivated, oh yeah, I can move through all this stuff. And we don't usually get motivated toward a negative outcome. We avoid it. So there's an emotional pain, and it paralyzes us. So things just get worse and worse and worse. And we hold on to things because we do have emotional ties. We have memories that we can't deal with, and we want to protect ourselves in some way from that. I traveled for years doing contract work, only kept what fit in my car. Wow. Yeah, well, yeah, Brian, I think I wish I could get to that point now. When years ago, 6 years ago, when I started watching YouTube, I was watching a lot of RV lifestyle. I was watching a lot of van life stuff. I was watching a lot of minimalist living. I loved it. And then it made me think, okay, what am I going to do with this mug that means so much to me? And it's just not one mug. I mean, it's stuff like that. And then, there's a lot of other deals with that. But yeah, it's one thing if I would have, actually, when I go back and I think about my late 30s, early 40s, I was in a very good decluttered stage. I had a small stuff of boxes that I actually kept here. But since coming back, since my passing of my parents, I think there's probably some undealt with stuff. And then also surviving a heart event where I faced my mortality, total change of perspectives, and now living with the reality, the understanding of just how quick it goes, life could go. And every little pain I get now and then, I think, is this it? Am I moments away like I once was? And then that's an overwhelm thing, Do you think Phoenix today feels crowded? Yeah, Ty, I don't have to go out in the crowds much anymore, and I just pretty much stay in my 2-3 mile vicinity. The Home Depot I work at's really close, and I avoid the crowds. I avoid the traffic. But I will say, for a big city, and I've always felt this way, Phoenix feels, it's because it's spread out. You know, it's about a good 100 miles from the far west, like Buckeye, all the way to Queen Creek area, Apache Junction. It's literally 100 miles, 75 to 100 miles, depending on if you want to really go to the far extremes. It's almost as the width of the state of Indiana. I met some people from Indiana that said, I think the width of Indiana at its on 70 is about 150 miles. So think about that. Just this valley right here, forget about border to border, just the West Valley to the East Valley or vice versa, 100 miles. So as a result, it's not a crowdedness that you would think you would feel in a city that's the 5th largest city in the nation. I have ding, I need a bell. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. Now this is a thing, but mid Tennessee, mid, nice airplane right there. I had a friend that had a plane just that same color and that style. I think that's a Bossa Nova. That's a Bossa Nova, isn't it? 2 storage in 2 states. Yeah, I get it, man. I know that you are not alone. Insane in the brain. No criticism. I'll tell you, I get it. There is a connection of trauma and hoarding. There we go. Rhonda has credentials, and I look forward to talking to you about this. When I started donating my stuff, many tears were shed. Yeah, but I've never had any regrets. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So I've gotten to the point where I'm going to digitize pictures, which is the smart thing to do because pictures aren't going to last anyway. But then I've already caught myself. Now what do I do with the pictures? Okay, I've got a record of them. What do I do with them? I got to throw them away. Oh, that's just, someone said they built a fire. As crazy as that sounds, I think that might be, I'd be more comfortable with that and do it almost ceremoniously, that this is a goodbye. I'll see you again. That's one way to look at it. Thriving, armored, but all those earlier books, tapes, and CDs. Okay, you guys are having your discussion here. Yep, all gone. Oh yeah. There's also connection to things that our deceased parents and grandparents own. Yeah, I have numerous things from my grandparents right around me here. I wish I could show you. This would be a good way to end the live tonight. But where is it? This will show you just how warped my deal is. And I'm looking here. I don't know why I would have moved it from right up here. Maybe it's over here. I don't know. It's a bookshelf. And it was right here. I keep thinking it's right in front of me, and it's not. Doggone it. I'll tell you what it is. So when I came back, I moved back here, and my dad had been taken to my brother's house in Kentucky to that's heavy right there for sure. But in some ways, losing it abruptly is probably less painful than long-term slow loss. That can be very painful. Anyway, I was going through stuff, and I went out to the shed, which my dad had turned into a bar, which became the neighborhood hangout with all the old people here and having beers and whiskey or bourbon. And they would do that almost daily. And that's a storage unit now filled with stuff. I've actually done some live or some videos in there about the budget in that place. And when I went in there, no one had been in there for a couple months, and there's a card table in there. So when I sat at during those videos I made, and in the middle of that was an ashtray. Okay. And you're going to talk about, this could be a future topic I'll talk a little more about. And in the ashtray was the butt of a cigar left about that much. That was my dad's cigar. And it just, and I had a lot of feelings about that as I walked through the house after no one had been in here, after they had gone. My mom had passed a few years earlier than my dad, and my dad was being taken to be cared for because he was going from dementia into Alzheimer. And so everything, I'd walk around going, this was how things ended at the end of life for them. And it's like on their last day, this is what it was. And it was like a picture that was kind of heavy. It still is. But what I did, I told my brothers, now this is kind of a family humor that you may think is morbid, but I took this ashtray that was in his bar, so it was a plastic one, and that cigar, and I memorialized it. I coated it, I covered it with acrylic. See, guys, I'm telling you, those guys with the straight jackets, I'm listening, I'm watching right now, waiting for them to come. I have the ashtray. I'll share it with you guys. I'll take a picture of it and share it in the school group, because that's, maybe in the community group on Facebook. But I think school is a little bit more for hardcore followers and people that of the group. And I just kind of like, now what am I going to do with it? I give it to one of my brothers maybe, or do I give it to a grand girl? I doubt it. That just sounds really wrong. But yeah, I memorialized this, his cigar, his last cigar that he was smoking here when he left. He thought he was going on a trip to my brother's house, and he never came back, And like I said, he had his last cigar was there in that ashtray. But hey, let's see what you guys say here. Hold on. Since I started house shares with my stuff in one room now, yeah, yep, still monitors, laptops, room doubles as home office. Yeah, only way I can afford things now. Reality. Yeah, I hear you, Brian. Hoarding also has a genetic link. Interesting. Okay, you say that. My mom was like this. Do you know when I made that last video about the third grade, and I talked about my 7th grade art teacher, Mr. Rocky? I have because of my mom, and it started with baby books, guys. Did you have a baby book? She has kept every report card from kindergarten all the way through college. I kept those. I have every report card of my educational career. And I went to get, because I wanted to include in that video, I was curious, what grade did I get in 7th grade in that art project? And guess what? All those years, all those different quarters and semesters of grade reports, 7th grade is missing. I cut, because of time, I cut out the coverage of what I got in elementary school when I got accused of well, I denied it, but I was copying Becky's bear. I would get C's in art in elementary school. And to be honest, a C in elementary school in art is basically translates into an F. So genetic link. Brain cannot make decisions, and actions are paralyzed. Sage, is this what I just described? Phil just has boxes in one room, not pathways. Yeah, I don't. I do have a pathway right over here, to be honest, because I'm moving stuff, and my plan was I'm going to move the stuff into 1 or 2 areas and work from there and clear out everything else. That's my plan. But yeah, we've all seen those stories of there's tunnels of passages. No, I'm not that bad. It is a process and definitely has challenges. Yeah, it really does. Phoenix is wild in winter. Just drive across town. Wow, bumper to bumper. Oh yeah. Well, you number one, you learn areas to avoid if you can, and you also definitely learn the times to avoid in the valley. And the winter is actually usually it's a lot less than the spring and summer. When spring training hits, things get real crazy. Oh, the Piper. Okay. All right. Looked like okay. Well, he had the same color scheme on his, so I'll bet it's the same one. We really need to work on one of the spare bedrooms that we have been using as a landing zone. Yeah. Yep. I've got a couple of those, actually 3. What do you think of Tucson? Is it underrated in some ways? I really don't know Tucson at all. Underrated, probably. It's a college town, so that's pretty cool. But I think I'd rather deal with Phoenix, to be honest. I think more opportunities, whatever. I was on Amazon. There you go. Resaw the returns death pile was real. Ah, see? And I don't know, were you here mid when I was talking about my plan for decluttering is going to be, I set all that up a year ago, never used it because I kept seeing these things that I don't want to deal with the problems I'm hearing about. But this new platform that's a combination really of QVC and eBay called, I almost said, why not? I'm all confused. I can't get it right. Help me out, people. WhatNot. Doesn't make sense. WhatNot. Yeah, that is so hard. Losing everything. You know it. Overnight. Thankful for them making it through it all. Yeah. Looking at how my daughters, taking a step back, looking at how my daughters view my stuff has helped. The coffee cups were the first things to go. A few went away. No value to my kids. Yeah. See, my daughter, yeah, doesn't care about whatever, but there are certain things that are very important to her. Wow, yeah, so sorry you had to go through that. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have all my kids' report cards. There you go. Kind of fun though. Oh, what is this? D, Phil's Coffee Fund. I got something to say. I really appreciate it. I don't know when I'll see that money. It should be probably next month. It'll pay me out. I have qualified for YouTube money this month after not qualifying for the last 3. You got to hit at least $100. Interesting though on the WhatNot app, when a patron, a community member gives a donation, you get all of it. On all the other platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, etc. They take a percentage for the processing fee and everything. But thank you so much, D. I really appreciate it. Yes. Got to build up his confidence. No, you guys, I appreciate it. It's really nice. It's cool. I will go back and watch. Yeah. Yeah. Check them out. WhatNot. Yes. Thank you, Jen Jones. That's it. Phil needs some movement. Oh, wait a second. Oh, Brad. Okay. I was gonna say, I didn't see your name there. I was gonna say, oh yeah, there's some YouTubers with the Movement Coffee. They own it, and I know that's what you're referencing, and not necessarily. Although that is a play, I think they did that creatively. Movement Coffee. Cheers. My grandfather was a clothing hoarder. My mom is a secret hoarder and kept everything out of sight. Wow. Until she became ill. Sisters had to get dumpsters. I started down the paper hoarding path, but cured. Yeah. When you say paper, oh geez, I've got my dad's DD whatever form. I've got his driver's license. Got my mom's driver's license. I've got a scrapbook in there of her 65th birthday. What's like mind blowing to me now is I remember that time we all had a big 65th or her retirement party and her 65th. They're both in there. All these pictures. And she had a big party at the Elks, invited a bunch of people. There might have been 50 people, 100 people there. All of her friends. It was really nice. And the grandkids were there. And of course, those were my kids, not my grandkids. They weren't around at that time. They weren't born yet. But what a great party. And I have this scrapbook. As a matter of fact, I thought about doing a video about it because these are these things. And but what I think I've determined, I think I will pass that kind of stuff down, let them deal with it. But I plan to make a digital copy of each page. And speaking of which, I got to throw this in, and this is something late in the thing. Very few people will see it. But for those of you who are here, which is really cool, when my daughter graduated high school, 16 years old. I remember being financially strapped, very tight at the time. I'm trying to think what I was doing. I don't remember. I don't think I may have been in between jobs actually, but I was in a relationship. We were living together, uh, and I remember actually. I don't know. I think something's not being remembered right. Anyway, no, it is. She graduated. She was in New Mexico with her mom, graduating high school. I thought, what do you get her? See, I remember teaching kids in an affluent area that got like sports cars as graduation presents for high school, big parties. I mean, gifts that were huge, things that I mean, just out of this world type of celebratory gifts. What do I get my daughter? I didn't have the money for anything really, and I had to drive down there for her high school graduation. Big deal, but it was an expense, and this is the kind of tight budget I was on, and so I made a memory book. I think maybe someone gave me this, said, yeah, you should do that. But it helped and encouraged me to do that. Long story short, she's 40 something today. So she was like 18 then. So 25 years ago or so, she got it out a few months ago to show her daughters, my granddaughters, and they were like, just, there it is. It's being this thing is being transferred generation to generation because they couldn't believe that was me. That's their mom. They had a hard time. And Beth said it's one of the most important things she has in her life right now. Is that good or bad? It's good, I think, ultimately. But why is that? Emotional attachment. And it isn't all good. It was a time, I got everything from baby pictures in this thing. I went to Michael's. I bought this little scrapbook thing. It was perfect. I have pictures. Anyways, yeah, it just, I don't know. I know there's families who go, what? I'm sure she would probably have preferred a new Corvette. Oh, man. And you know why that would never happen? Because if I could have bought a Corvette, I'd be driving the Corvette. I could have taken her for a ride, picked her up for her graduation in the Corvette. That would have been memorable. I have my stuff. I have to stuff my Hawaiian shirts in my closet. They call to me, hey, buddy, psst, you know what, Brian? I got something for you. If you, now, I don't know if you really have real Hawaiian shirts. Because after living in Hawaii, I learned they don't wear the Hawaiian shirts that we wear here, the real colorful, this and that. You might correct me here. But this would be a mug for you, bro. I collect these. They are coffee mugs. Wow. Now, what makes these really cool is this. They're from the 8. Is that right? Oh, this isn't the one. And they're cool. They have this stuff on the deal. The ABC stores. I have a bunch of them over there from the ABC stores. But these are so cool. See, these are geographically correct, people. Although, yeah. So I lived on, there's 7 or 8 main ones. So it goes from the Big Island down here all the way up Maui, Oahu, and Kauai. There's Niihau, private island. Today, if you went there, you would be killed by the indigenous people. But Kauai is where I lived for 3 years. And, I originally thought I'll get one of these as a memory. And I bought it here on the mainland and whatever. Actually, I bought the last 2 things I bought when I left Kauai was two coffee mugs that said Hawaii on it as a memory. But I'm sure I'm going to sell these for a few dollars for people that went to Hawaii or would love to go and have the memory, especially from the ones from the ABC stores, because those are like cool. I'm terminal, people. I'm terminal. Buying an expensive Jeep. Yeah, Brad, I think you're referring to what we did when I was 20, whatever, newly married. We traded a paid off 1976 Toyota Celica for a brand new CJ5, 1981 CJ5. I think I mentioned that in a previous video. One of the, actually, ultimately the worst financial decision I ever made. Why? Because a $265 a month payment could have been banked, invested in a, back then in a mutual fund. Had we not touched that for 30 years, it would be worth well over $1 million, I'm sure, just for that payment for 4 years. That's all. Yes. Some papers are more important than others and go into a binder. When the trash and junk mail get mixed in, then there's a problem. I have a paper grocery bag of paper clutter going into recycling weekly. Yeah, that's good. Great. Well, no, wait. I've been pitching this whole thing. Was it my wonderful explanation of the coffee mug, or was it something else? And by the way, we're starting to lose people. I get it. We're getting late here. Hey, real quick, I'm going to ask though, when I do my first live auction, I don't want you coming. As a matter of fact, you're not. I would love for you to drop in the auction. It's going to be about a 20-minute auction. You'll see how it works. You'll see what we're doing. But I don't want you to buy it because you got to stay away from the stuff I'm selling. It's clutter. But unless there's something that you could have discipline on. Anyway, I would like people from the community to come, and the reason is if a new seller, if you can show at least just 5 people in a room, it helps attract people that. So in that way, you would be co-conspirators to our propagating people's collecting problems. What am I trying to say here? I've scrapbooked. Yeah, scrapbooked. K through 12 for each kid, kids college years, kids graduate. I love it. Yeah, Jen Jones, I get it. Weddings, family heritage. Yeah, on both sides. I'm not decluttering. Okay, I love that. I can't either. That's why I said, Jen Jones, these things for my mom. And by the way, my mom was a scrapbooker. She's the one that did this throughout her whole life, putting stuff together for the family, whether it be baby books, or she did the 65th. I don't even remember us taking any pictures. Other people took pictures. We'll do a live of that. I'd like to continue at least talking. It feels good to talk about it, I guess, and share. Never been to Hawaii. Yep, all my shirts from Thrift or Old Navy. Okay. Well, Brian, I would suggest if I could, this is the next best thing to being there. You could literally plan out your trip, and I could actually tell you places, especially on this island right there, where to go and what to do. And personally, I've only been to Oahu and Kauai. And to get to Kauai, it used to be you had to fly here first. And then, yes, look at the sunny beaches, the palm trees. You know what this is right here? That is the Hawaii state flower. It's the yellow hibiscus. See, right there. Now they have ones with the red, the blood red inside. That it's the pure yellow one, as I understand it. Yeah, cool stuff. And by the way, see, I got this for 99 cents. Probably on senior day, so I got 20% off that, and I can sell it easily for $6-7. Hawaii was fabulous. We went there on our honeymoon. Oh, fantastic. What island was that? I gave my almost my $5. Oh, there you go. I think there's some value in that, pass that little family legacy stuff down. Phil has just demonstrated why we collect coffee. Oh, okay. It's geography, and he's a teacher. There you go. Thank you, Sage. I'm being redeemed. Guys, I encourage you to go back and watch my video about the $1 million coffee mug. And I'm not joking. I've thought about, well, I may do this in that auction. I have a mug over there I still use. And I thought about putting it at auction for $1,000. It would kill me if someone paid me $1,000, but I might give it up for $1,000. In the video, I said it was $1 million mug. Because to me, it's priceless. And I'm pretty safe, I think, if I put $1 million on it. But you know what? If someone wanted to bless me with that just because, I would take it. They can have the mug. I'd even pour them a cup of coffee in it. Oh, look at this. Thriving. I made doubles of the albums, one for them. Oh, yeah. I get it. That's great. That is really good. Yeah, that's funny. Your coffee mug collection reminds me of the Tip Top. Oh, man, Brad, I don't think you ever told me that you've been to Kauai. I know you've been a traveler. Now, I'm gonna give you one comment about Tip Top. On the island, it is lore because it's all locals. It's where the local food is. It's the best. You say something on island against that place, you might not survive. You might not get off the island alive. I mean, seriously, you don't talk negative about. But I'm going to tell you this. I went there one time. I was very disappointed in the service, which I lived on the island long enough to know it's chill, no hurry, but it was ridiculous. I didn't even get my coffee refilled. Number two, the food was basically processed food from Safeway or whatever. The Spam or whatever came from can. I mean, just the sausages were all. Nothing was fresh. It was not good. I never went back. And when people talked about, oh, go to Tip Top, I just kept my mouth shut. I'd like to know what your experience was there. Buy the mug, Brian. There you go, D. Let's encourage this. Brian, I would actually give you the mug. How about that? Shipping and handling, that's all you'd have to pay, and that would be like $34.95, $34 to cover it. Yes, on sharing your mom's scrapbook video. Okay, thank you, Jude. One of the things I wanted to mention earlier in this live stream was, hey, the best ideas for my videos and my coming videos come from you guys. So if you'd like a topic where it's not really about me, but about us, if when we're talking about making the best of the way things have turned out in retirement and dealing with our past as part of that, let me know. So I'll make a note of that, Jude's. Yeah, maybe a live. I love the live. I like the interaction, real-time interaction. And by the way, there are links. I was going to do this tonight. I was going to put the link up and said, but if any of you would like to join me for a segment of the live, that would be really cool. Especially if we did a scrapbook thing to Jen Jones, if you came on, you could share one of your scrapbooks. I would love that. I might just. Hey, Brian, wait a second. I know you mentioned Colorado Springs. Are you in the Springs now? Because if you are, I'm due a trip up there to see, I have a lot of people up there that most of them former students at this point who I would like to see again. Keep in touch with. Oahu and Maui, fantastic. And today Maui is the absolute most popular. Oahu is definitely and has been always the most commercialized. Kauai, the Garden Island, is considered the last real Hawaiian experience there. I don't know about today though. Been lots of changes there. It just takes one to start the process. Yeah, but think about the coffee I would send for that. Yes, Brad. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I'm dead serious about it. Someone gives me $1 million for that. Hold on. I'm not joking. I'm not messing around here. See, it may look you would be amazed at how quickly I can find things here because I don't put things away. If I don't put things away, it's all in front of me. I just have to look for it on the countertop. This is the $1 million mug. There's nothing fancy about this. It's a Gibson. And the short story is I had a restaurant with my wife at the time. Her dream to have a restaurant. We went through, when we got it, it was turnkey kind of, so we had all the mugs. They were big ceramic, really high quality restaurant mugs. And over the course of the first year, they all pretty much were destroyed, which is saying a lot because these things don't break. Many of them could, the first drop on the floor, they'd survive, maybe just do a little chip out of it. But the second, they all ended up getting broke. So I started going to Goodwill. I don't know if someone mentioned this, whatever, 25 cents to 50 cents. I think this was 50 cents. They had discounts on certain days where you could pick up. And it was a home style type restaurant. And what better, I thought, than to have people? Well, we had a guy come in the first day we opened, and I ended up, he would be there every day. And it became a home. Families came every day in this small town, Colorado. And I started buying these mugs. Well, the first batch I go in there, John, who was our first customer in the door that morning at 6 a.m., he was waiting for it to open. And he came every day, most times once to 3 times. He'd be there morning, noon for lunch, and sometimes for dinner, bring his wife. He cleared the snow for me. He was just a great human being, right? In the Goodwill was a big white mug with a black number 1 on it. That's all it was a number 1. That became his mug. Do you know what that meant to him? Do you know how loyal he was to my business? I mean, he used to be a regular down the street. He never went there anymore unless I was closed, and I was never closed. So we had coffee mugs that you'd find in your house. Now, for whatever reason, this became my favorite. I liked it. As a matter of fact, I have actually found this on a reseller's list, and I've almost ordered another one. Why? I don't need it, just in case this one breaks. So that's the story. It survived I've owned this now for almost 20 years, probably about 19 years, 18 years. And it's still my favorite mug. And I'm not really sure because I don't have, overall, that was one of the most stressful times of my life is having that restaurant. And but there it is. And so I jokingly in that video I did said, this is the $1 million mug to me. You'd have to give me $1 million. And I really don't. I would sell it for that. So then I started thinking, well, maybe when I run this auction on WhatNot, I'll put $1,000 on it. But no, I would not. I don't need $1,000 that bad. But I might, for the story, make it the $10,000 mug. Could you imagine maybe someone saying, I'll give you that, somebody that carries it in their back pocket? I don't know. Money's not that important. I'd have to think about what I would sell that. What would I sell my soul for? And that's what it would be. I'd be selling a little piece of my soul if I sold that mug. Oh, wait, a Home Depot mug, $1 million. I didn't see that part. No, I don't think I have. Oh, this is how bad this is. You can't tell me I'm not organized. Yeah, look at that. That's a man's mug right there, baby. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, what happened? I work at Home Depot. They sell all kinds of paraphernalia. This was part of it, and I think I got a discount on it. And of course I got 2 of these. Why? I don't need 2, but that is one of the cooler mugs I have, don't you think? I will put this up for auction. We'll see what happens. I'm going to detail all this, and I'll be giving all the details in the school group. I won't be wasting time on YouTube. I'll be doing some videos about it, but anyway, there you go. Oh my goodness. Brian, if you have a spearmint, I can hook you up. Oh, you are banned from the channel, Jen Jones. No, you are not allowed to snipe on my YouTube channel. You guys are funny. Does spam come any other way? Yeah, it doesn't, Sage. No, I don't think it does. That's why when I said it, I thought, yeah. I just remember whatever they had was really as a sausage patty. It was overcooked. It was not good quality. That's all I got to say. Yes, been here in Colorado Springs 10 years. Wow. I'm not doing the incline walk. That would do me. Someone, I just saw a thing on Facebook. A guy, older guy, died. He's in his 50s. I've done the incline twice. Whew. And that was when it was, quote, illegal. It's legal now. They made it an actual trail. That is a killer hike, man. I barely made it the 2 times I went. I have stories about that. Almost missed my flight out of Denver thinking I'd never ridden the Cog Railway, so I rode it up there one day and I walked down. I couldn't walk for a week, man. People at work were concerned. I had to take the elevator up to the second floor. I could not do the stairs when I got back here. Yeah, Ryan. Okay, well, go. Cool, man. A short video showing each cup one after the other would be interesting, if not viral. Oh, wow. Well, the problem with your comment there, Sage, is you said short. I literally have hundreds of mugs. Give me an idea how that might go. That might be interesting. Oh, Brian, you're only short about a minute. Well, hold on, Brian. Don't be. Man, that's disappointing to me that you would just quickly give Jen Jones the money. Oh, the home. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, I'm telling you, this is a man's man. I'm telling you, is that not? And then in a pinch, it can if you need something like just it's solid, man. I almost did that to this, but I didn't want to take the chance. I'm telling you, man. This stuff I'm going to be contributing to other people's clutter habits. Next venture is only my. Now, I got to say something. Brad, who's here, I thought this was you. Maybe it is. This guy is the funniest guy. Only mugs. I bet there's people in this group that don't know that reference. Armored. Remember, I mispronounced your name before. It's Armored Ghost. That is hilarious. Only mugs. You got 2 mugs now. Yeah. And I offered mine for free anyway. Infitude. Oh, I don't get it, Raymond. All right. I have officially caught up, and we've lost about 10 people. It's been 2 hours of fun. Thanks, guys. Definitely fun spending some time here tonight on a Saturday night. Appreciate everybody. I will catch you next time. Hopefully, new video out in a few days about things I didn't expect working at 6. I didn't expect to be working at 60, but I kind of did. But some things that were surprising to me. I'm going to try to go with that. And I forgot about that. And then the auctions begin in about 2 to 3 weeks, because the strategy is to post the auction for a week prior. I'll be letting y'all know on the SKOOL group or whatever. Spread the word. It'd be great just for a handful of you to come over, see how it works. Don't buy any of the clutter unless you really like. I mean, Brian, I could get you a deal for a Hawaiian mug with the Home Depot. I appreciate your comments. I can tell you like it. Here we go. Last comments. Hold on. We know the reference. Hold on. Welcome to my Only Mugs page, where the content is always hot, steamy, and oh man, I'll tell you, we got some. This could work. We know the reference. Oh, no way, Jen Jones. Now we're getting into surprise, shocking territory. Go Knicks. Hey, that's right, Raymond. Couldn't believe it. I think they got it. I'm calling it. Knicks will be champions this year. Good night to all. Judes, thank you. It's been fun. Have a good one. Take care, Phil. Thank you, Johnny. Awesome. Thanks so much for coming by. I've seen short videos featuring Starbucks mug. Yours would be a short mini series regarding mugs. Okay, let's come over to share more about that over there, where we share about the highlights there at school group, where we can talk about it. Good night, Jen Jones. Awesome. Salute. Thank you, Raymond. Got to check Sundown. Check mugs later. All right. Excellent. Oh, gosh. Here we go. Let's go out with a little music tonight. What do we got? Here? The jazzy music, I think, as Dee called it. Here we go.